The best high school player on the planet and the probable #1 pick in this coming summer's NBA draft, LeBron James brings his act to the West Coast as St. Vincent St. Mary of Akron, Ohio, ranked 9th in the country and unbeaten on the season, takes on a powerhouse from Santa Ana, California, #4, Mater Dei, here in Pauley Pavilion in Los Angeles. Well, it has been quite a season so far for LeBron James. Of course, the game on ESPN2 a few weeks ago when they beat #1 Oak Hill by 20 points, an overtime win over #6 Brookhaven of Columbus over the Christmas break. And now they're out here on the West Coast to take on Mater Dei. We've got a couple of guys who have seen LeBron James in person. Let's get their thoughts on what we're going to see here tonight. And yes, this is the same guy who was doing an NBA game on ABC in Dallas earlier today. Thanks for making it in. I know some allegiance to the building, which we'll talk about at some point here tonight. But Bill Walton, of course, is with us. You've been following LeBron James now closely ever since we saw him a few weeks ago. What have you learned about him in the last few weeks?
Dan, in those 3 weeks, the most impressive thing to me has been that the closer we've looked, the better this guy appears. He has the absolute complete package. His ability to make his teammates the stars of the game, delivering the ball on the mark. And when things break down, he can shake and bake, create his own shot. Unparalleled athleticism. Now, LeBron James has been on such a spotlight now for quite a long time, but now he finds himself on the biggest of stages with a huge crowd here. Basketball eyes from the history of Southern California basketball here to see just how good this guy is. They will not leave disappointed. This guy is unique, special, and we are privileged to be here today.
Just about a full house here at Pauley Pavilion. A former high school star from Southern California said, man, this is different from when I used to play high school ball. He didn't get 12,000 for his games. Jay Billis, what specific part of LeBron James's game impresses you the most?
Well, Bill Walton talked about the complete package which LeBron James has, but I'm most impressed by his ability to pass the ball. Coaches will tell you that they can teach a player how to pass, but they cannot teach a player how to see. LeBron James can see, and he sees the entire floor. He can pass ahead. He knows what is the right pass to make in the course of a game. He doesn't pass to be flashy. He passes because it's the right play. And when you watch players like Kobe Bryant in high school, Bryant had the same skill level of LeBron James. He wasn't quite the imposing physical presence, and he could not pass the way LeBron James can pass. He's truly special.
I want to know how a Southern California lad like yourself didn't come to UCLA.
Well, they didn't recruit me hard enough. That's what it was.
Joyce puts up the runner, no good. Gets the rebound, and Corey Jones knocks one down from the baseline. That's the point that should be made about this St. Vincent St. Mary team. It's not LeBron James and 4 guys who can't play basketball. The other kids are pretty good too. Shane loses the handle, gets it back, misses a short one, gets it again, and a block for Romeo Travis.
I'm noticing the absence of Sean Cotton, the football player who anchors the middle for me. His presence is really going to be a major factor here. St. Vincent St. Mary undefeated on the season. Without him, they're a different team.
He is playing in a high school All-American game, football game tomorrow. Another miss for James. Cotton is a 6'4", 290-pound defensive tackle. Here's Strawberry, has it blocked.
Boy, Romeo Travis is a really active player and a great offensive rebounder.
Here's James, look at the pass! Showtime early for LeBron James.
And a little extra on that one, but still, it was the right play. The pass behind to an open man.
And a 5-second violation. The press quickly electrifies this crowd. The buzz still going through. And this is a town that has seen phenomenal passing. From Walt Hazzard to Greg Lee to Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and now LeBron James laying the dime down.
And Gary McKnight not too worried about the pass going behind. He's wondering where all the red shirts getting back in transition defense.
Joyce misses the 3. Now run out for Mater Dei, and the slam by Marcel Jones, a 6'11", 6'7" rather junior.
That's where Mater Dei can score a lot of points, is in transition. They're a team that likes to run. They run motion offense when they get into a half-court set, but they want to get the ball down court quickly and score. They don't run a secondary break. They want to score on their initial break.
Remember when that used to be a backcourt violation?
Yeah, well, as long as you don't touch it now, you can do that.
Here's Garrity again. Boy, he is not shy about getting into the paint.
Well, that's what he does. He is a penetrator. He's working on his perimeter shot, and as a sophomore, he's getting a lot of attention in recruiting, and will be right now he's one of the best sophomores in California, but he's got the chance to be one of the best point guards in America.
Jones, the lob inside, and LeBron James has his first 2 points of the game.
The game in Cleveland that we did. It was the breakaway dunk that was the spark for LeBron James.
Washington with a bit of a spark at the other end.
Right now, St. Vincent St. Mary's definitely needs some transition defense.
Line drive jumper no good by Travis.
And it's been one shot and out for St. Vincent St. Mary's. And that's how they beat Oak Hill, was their offensive rebound.
Nearly stolen by James. Jones hits the floor, but the Monarchs get it back and will call a timeout. Tied at 13 early in the second quarter with Bill Walton and Jay Billis. I'm Dan Shulman, and that is LeBron James.
You know, it looked like DJ Strawberry relaxed a little bit when that pass was coming in. Instead of being down in a stance, he stood straight up, and James took full advantage of him. And Shane a little bit late in getting over to put a body in front of James before he could get to the basket. But it was that initial defensive position that allowed James to get to the hole.
The creativity, the imagination, the balance, the ability to change the move to the next one once the defense commits. This guy's got it.
Man against boys.
7 points for James. Let me ask you guys, we've seen him twice, and it seems obvious that his ability to get to the basket right now overrides his ability to shoot the long jumpers. So Jay, why do you think, or Bill, why do you think he has settled for long jumpers on occasion in both of the games we've seen?
Well, one, it's a little bit sexier, I think, to shoot jumpers instead of taking the ball to the basket every time. And because people have talked about it, myself included, that that's something he needs to work on and is not the best thing that he does, I think he tends to overcompensate and try to prove that he can do it.
Thank you, Jay. I'd play him at center. I'd say get in the post. You're the biggest guy out there. You're the strongest guy out there. And play like Magic Johnson used to play.
And play like you used to play. When you got the ball inside, people could cut off of you, and you were a great passer and really revolutionized the game as a big man.
Jumper, yes.
You're not that old, Jay.
I remember you. And I told Dan Shulman this earlier today, and I do not say this just because you were here. If you did not get hurt as a pro, I think we would see a different game now than we see. One where the big man is implemented more as a passer, a more skilled player. Right now, we don't see that, and I think it's a shame.
Well, the big men want to play on the perimeter, as you pointed out. The ability of LeBron James to knock down that shot with the soft touch only encourages the more wild play that we saw in the early going.
And he is going to be a good shooter. And the reason I say that, I don't think he's a great shooter now, but he's going to be a really consistent shooter in the future because he shoots the ball with ease. His mechanics are good. He will refine that shot. I think he's got all the tools to be an outstanding shooter at the next level. Don't you think, though, the rookie wage scale can tend to chase some kids out of school early simply because they want to get the clock started on their second and third contract?
Which is a gigantic mistake on their part.
Right. James to Joyce for 3.
You've got to make James, or you got to make Joyce put the ball on the floor. Same thing with Jones. If they don't put it on the floor, they will knock down shots all day.
Garrity going to the basket all day.
But how about this St. Vincent St. Mary's team? Oh, goodness gracious.
11 for James.
This team comes out and looks so bad in the opening moments. And now they are just hammering Mater Dei. And Mater Dei was clearly the best team in the first 8 minutes of this ball game.
Well, they've calmed down a little bit. And also what they've done is spread the floor out a little more, and they've made better use of LeBron James. He does it everywhere. Look here on defense with Harrison Shane. I mean, this kid is a good leaper, Harrison Shane, taking the ball to the basket and James putting it into the seats.
The left hand, on the way down, the body control. So many of the players that we have coming up in the game today at all levels, they only play with their athletic skills.
Right.
This guy really has a basketball game. If he couldn't run fast or jump high, we'd still be talking about this guy as being an outstanding basketball player. But you put the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and that psychological package together, a guy who loves the spotlight, we're in for a treat for many years.
And he's not yet been systematized. And by that, I mean he's not pegged into a position where somebody says, hey, son, you're a power forward, get inside and all that. He's a player, and he's learned how to play instead of how to play a position.
Thank goodness. Well, when they're getting 5,000 fans a game and losing to teams like Northern Arizona.
Well, they got a big win today against Washington State. Capona with 44 points.
How about that?
That's now referred to as a big win.
Hey, listen,
it's all
when you're 3 and 6, they're all big wins.
Right.
I promise you that locker room thought it was a big win.
Boy, you've gone from a recruiter in the first quarter to being a tough guy in the second. That was DJ Strawberry, by the way, knocking down the 15-foot jump shot. He's got 5. Here's James.
Well, look at the job DJ Strawberry is doing on LeBron James.
He's working hard. Now he leads the break. Turns it over, though, and the Irish will get another chance. Here's James through the legs.
My goodness.
And a foul before he gets to the basket. Boy, his ball handling is something to behold as well.
Dan, when he's coming down, as a defensive player, I loved it when the guys would come at you. And my favorite was when Dr. J or David Thompson, Michael Jordan, those guys would just come at you, and you just live for those one-on-one confrontations. This guy comes right at you. You have no idea where he's going. Right? That ability to stop, start, explode, put it through the legs. What are you supposed to do as a defender?
Well, let's find out what they do with him here. He gets his shot anytime he wants, and he knocks it down. And James, who had only 2 in the first quarter, has 13 here in the second quarter.
He's going to need LeBron James to learn how to warm up better. He starts these games way too slow.
That's the experience we've had on both occasions. The first half comes to an end. St. Vincent St. Mary led by LeBron James, who has half of his team's points with a 30-24 lead over Mater Dei, ranked number 4 in the country. Well, a guy who's going to obliterate a few records along the way, LeBron James, again, a very slow start in the first quarter, but a terrific second quarter as he started to take over the game.
LeBron James woke up after a predictably slow start. I just don't like the way they approach the beginning quarters of these games, but LeBron James put on the complete show as we fully anticipated. Going left, so difficult to do, exhibiting the soft touch, the creativity, the imagination, the defense, the rebound, it's all right there.
And Bill, how many times at every level of basketball do you see when a bad shot is taken, and even though it was a makeable shot for James, that was a bad shot, the other team goes down, hits a 3 on it. It's almost universal.
And now a turnover. Monarchs on the move. Nelson pulls up and misses the bank.
Good job that time, though, by Chris Henry running the floor.
Joyce going to settle things down a little bit. His coach, his dad, who may be biased, called him the heart and soul of the St. Vincent St. Mary team. He said LeBron James obviously is the best player, but they all rally around Drew Joyce.
Well, he likes the way his son can really help him set the tempo when they need a basket. Right now, they're making the Mater Dei defense move before they attack it.
Joyce, like Travis, going to Akron. Another turnover. And here's Jones, and he got held. Where's the foul?
Not a foul?
That's embarrassing.
That is embarrassing. That's a horrible call.
Horrible. Jones for 3 at the other end, but how did that go uncalled?
Wow. It's almost like all 3 of them were waiting for one of the other 2 to blow the whistle.
Trevante Nelson for 3, left it short, and the rebound to James. Beautiful. Bounce pass Sims and the reverse layup.
Yeah, he just makes the right play time after time when he's got the ball in his hands, doesn't he?
Jay, how about the ability to know where the long rebounds are? Right. That was Magic and that was Bird. Those guys, they saw the play before anybody else did.
Henry inside, and it's back to 12.
And a nice job by Henry to catch it and go up immediately and not allow the block the time to materialize.
It's amazing when you look at the 10 players on the court, how much physically more mature LeBron James is than everyone else. How does that happen? And what's going to happen when he's out there when everyone else has the same physical maturity?
Well, if he does go to the NBA and becomes the first pick and steps in, presumably on a horrendous team, right? And so he becomes a starter right away, and he's got to travel more and play more minutes and play against stronger people. What kind of a transition do you see him making, though?
It'll always be difficult, and his teammates will have so much determination as to how successful he ultimately is. Remember, Magic's first game was played with Kareem.
His work ethic, I think, will determine a lot of it, and his drive. And it's different for each guy. What a pass!
Nice. Beautiful. You talked about the passing at the beginning, Jay. Oh, what a
How
steal.
about that? And speaking of work ethic, making that pass instead of preening around, he runs back in transition defense.
Strawberry still covering James. There's James inside, his first field goal of the second half.
And he goes inside on ball reversal. He's open for a layup left-handed, and that's where he needs to be a little bit more often.
But a lot more often. Like every play.
Now here's James. It's a 5-on-2. James will take it himself, follow his miss, and again, no, wave it off. Over the back on LeBron James.
Over whose back?
Time's winding down on Mater Day as LeBron James and St. Vincent St. Mary of Akron, Ohio remain undefeated. They pick up their third win over a top 10 team already this season and bumped their record to 8-0.
And they didn't really seem seriously threatened at any point in terms of losing the game, which is overall the biggest picture.
Right, exactly. That's the what they were trying to accomplish here tonight, and they are a force on the national scene. Ranked 23rd at the beginning of the season. They're up to 9th right now, and with wins in the past week over number 6 and number 4, they are sure to move up in the USA Today Super 25 rankings.
They're also a force on the business page of the newspaper.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? He's been on the cover of so many magazines and newspapers, on national television. He is on his way to the NBA, we believe. And the likely #1 overall pick in LeBron James is going to become a household name if he's not already very, very soon. Again, the final score here at Pauley, St. Vincent St. Mary 64, Mater Dei 58. LeBron James leads his team to another win.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.